Kevin McCarthy can't be trusted. And he's showing that in the way he's transacting with other members to get to 218. Well, what happens? Now the kids realize they get to rule the playground, and Kevin McCarthy as a playground monitor can't get control of this. I personally think Kevin McCarthy's done. I don't think there's a pathway for Kevin McCarthy here. He might have one last shot behind closed doors, but I think his run of the speakership is probably done. And I would be surprised, Nicole, if Kevin McCarthy is in the House of Representatives a year from now. I think he resigns.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about Kevin McCarthy, who is currently going through a public humiliation as the first time in 100 years, the vote for House Speaker has not been decided after one round of voting. And as of this video, which this could change, it probably will change by the time you guys see this video, he has lost the Speaker vote on 3 ballots. So 3 times, right? 3 times. This guy has lost the vote for Speaker of the House because members of the House Freedom Caucus, which basically is the MAGA Republicans, they're like, we don't want this guy to be Speaker, right? We don't want him to be Speaker. There are certain things that we want that this guy is not capitulating to. And you know what? We don't want him to be Speaker. And honestly, I agree. I don't think he should be Speaker. Now, I think I have a little bit different reasons in regards to why I don't think he should be Speaker. But I do kind of overall agree with this guy losing, right? I would much rather have any Republican than Kevin McCarthy because this guy is a weasel. He's a snake. And he feels like he's entitled to the position simply because he can suck off corporate America better than any other Republican in the House, which is the only reason a lot of these people vote for him, because it's not like he provides a real policy vision for this country. He doesn't inspire anybody to go out and vote Republican. And I'm sick and tired of these clowns leading this party. We got to get rid of the McClowns, the McDaniels, the McCarthys, and the McConnells, right? We get rid of them, Republican Party will go in the right direction. This is the beginning of that. So that being said, I want to play a couple videos here. One from Lauren Boebert, who is against Kevin McCarthy being Speaker, okay, and her reasoning behind it. And I want to play another video of Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is actually for Kevin McCarthy being Speaker, and her reasoning behind it. So I want you guys to be able to contrast and understand what's going on here in the current debate going on in Congress. So without further ado, let's roll the clips.
So I've said from the beginning that my hard line was the motion to vacate. Single member motion to vacate. You cannot demand more responsibility and less accountability. And Kevin McCarthy was taking the path of Nancy Pelosi and following her precedents with the motion to vacate. We were just told when we left this door, we will give you single member motion to vacate. Just today. That was the starting point for negotiations. That was the starting point to everything that we are wanting to transform the way Washington, D.C. operates. If you go to the American people and ask them if Congress is doing a good job, if they like the way things are run in Washington, D.C., you're probably going to get a big hell no. We want to change the way things are done here. We didn't offer up a personal wish list. We were told to provide lists of what members need to be seated on what committees. And we did exactly that. And then there were amazing items that were listed as well for our border security, for term limits. Just bring the bill to the floor so we can have a vote on term limits. That's what the majority of Americans want to see in Congress. We said that any amendment that reduces the national debt needs to be made in order. This is not a personal wish list. This is not something that is unreasonable. This is just for the American people. This is fair for the American people. And so now here we are being sworn at instead of being sworn in. And we could have had this solved months ago. I have been working every day to unify the Republican Party for the American people. And yesterday, we had a deal that was not a selfish deal in any way for Kevin McCarthy to get him the gavel on the first ballot, and he eagerly dismissed us.
We have been negotiating, talking, debating back and forth in our conference, trying to come to a really good rules package, and it's amazing. As a matter of fact, I'll quote Matt Gaetz. He said it's exquisite. That's what he said on our conference call on Sunday. But in that conference meeting there, we found out that there were several members, 3 in fact, that went in last night and were demanding positions for themselves, demanding gavel positions, demanding subcommittees, demanding for people to be taken off committees and people to be put on committees. Three Republicans out of our 222. I want you all to know I have not done that for myself. The only thing I have done is debate and request and argue amongst my peers for the right things, for the rules package and for our agenda for the American people. And that's the only thing I've done. I haven't asked for one thing for myself, and I'm the only Republican that has 0 committees. So you would think I would be the one in there asking for something, but I haven't done that. But I find out that it's my Freedom Caucus colleagues and my supposed friends that went and did that, and they asked nothing for me. Nothing. That's what I found out in there. I am furious. Well, let me tell you something. While the conservatives that the base supports and believes in, let me remind everyone, they're not perfect either. Scott Perry, before his general election, refused to vote against the bill that was all about the gay marriage bill. He didn't. He refused to vote against it. He voted for it. Then, when it came back around after his election, he was able to vote against it. Conservatives would not like that. Let me remind everyone this. Matt Gaetz, who has compared Kevin McCarthy to Paul Ryan, my friend Matt Gaetz, he supported Paul Ryan almost more than anyone. It's still on his social media. As a matter of fact, his first vote in Congress was for Paul Ryan as Speaker. And then he cheered him on for nearly a year and a half or more when people like me were at home furious at Paul Ryan's speakership because it wasn't passing the MAGA agenda that we all supported. Chip Roy, he refused to object on January 6th. That's not what our base wanted. He also set out the vote for the January 6th committee. There's many more. Bob Good, $2 million from Kevin McCarthy to get elected. Lauren Boebert, under $2 million from Kevin McCarthy to get elected. Many more people have taken Kevin McCarthy's money to get elected, and then there's a few of them that don't want to support him as Speaker. So imagine that. This is not anything about the country. This is all about never Kevin. They just don't like Kevin McCarthy. And you cannot be successful in anything if you aren't able to walk in a room, make what you want, and get a deal done, and then walk away with the W and get to work and not worry about who you like and who you don't like. This is not about prom king. This is not about a pastor. This is about electing a person to sit in the speaker chair so that we can all get to work. And out of 222 Republicans, let me remind everyone, there's 218 votes to get something passed. That means all of us are powerful, every single faction in the Republican Party. So there's not going to be a tiny little group that is going to demand their way because they want subcommittee chairs and they want certain power positions. That is not how this works. And that is the worst thing they could do for the country. And I'm furious over it. I'm going to continue calling them out. We will be fighting this out. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, so as you guys can see there's heated debate going on, and I actually don't think that this is a bad thing. I actually think this is a great thing. It's a great thing, despite what the mainstream liberal media is saying about it. I think that it is good when you have people that are not just going to go along to get along because a guy can raise money and give you a few $1 million to win an election, right? I don't think that politicians should be bought and sold like prostitutes. I'm sorry, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I disagree with you on that, right? I don't think just because Kevin McCarthy gave Lauren Boebert $2 million to win her race that she has to now make him king of the Republican Party because he can raise money. That's everything that's wrong with politics, right? The money is what is the problem with politics. So I actually kind of disagree with Marjorie Taylor Greene on that. But again, I'm not that familiar with what everybody or each individual is demanding and what they want. What I do know and what I believe is that Kevin McCarthy is a weak leader, and this is more proof because he can't even get his party to rally around him as leader, and there should always be debate. There should never be a time in which you're trying to decide who should be a leader and everybody's just like, oh, this guy, right? Because he can raise money when the dude clearly is not a good leader, right? I'm just saying, I mean, at the end of the day, I respect the people that are standing up to the establishment. Look, I'm going to tell you, progressives are looking at this, the progressive base, they're looking at what the MAGA Republicans are doing, the Freedom Caucus Republicans are doing, and they're jealous because they're like, we wish that AOC would do this. We wish that Ilhan Omar would do this. We wish that Rashida Tlaib would stand up Nancy Pelosi like this. When they got into Congress, they didn't challenge Nancy Pelosi in her speakership. They was calling her what, Mama Bear, and hugging up to her and doing all types of other stuff, right? Progressives can only dream to have their politicians do what some of these Republicans are doing to Kevin McCarthy. So I respect it. I really do, because this guy does not provide an agenda for this country that is going to inspire people to come out and vote Republican. When you constantly lose, why the hell should you remain speaker? Why should people keep rewarding losers, right? We can't keep rewarding losers. We're rewarding the McConnells. We're rewarding the McCarthys simply because they can raise money. But they're losing. And we're losing this country because of these guys. And I'm sick of it. I'm sick and tired of it. We have to go in a different direction. We have to show these guys that you can't be mediocre and think that, well, you're just going to waltz into a position of leadership just because, again, you can, get at sloppy top 3,000 to corporate America and raise all this money. Look, go raise money on your own. But we need somebody in a leadership position that can actually provide a clear America first agenda for this country. That's what we need, right? We need somebody that's going to secure the border. We need term limits. We need to reduce the deficit and the debt. Okay, we need to fight crime. We need to stop giving out all this money to these foreign countries that don't appreciate us. Okay, they don't like us. Okay, these endless wars. This is what we need, right? Kevin McCarthy does not represent that. Kevin McCarthy is a guy that I have no faith in that is going to execute on any promise. He'll say anything he can to, be speaker. He'll say anything he can for power, right? I mean, this guy was literally calling for Republican politicians to be banned from social media after January 6th. That's what he's doing. Is this the guy that we're going to elect to fight big tech? Hell no, right? This guy was basically talking about how to remove Trump from office after January 6th. And then as soon as everything calmed down, he went off to Mar-a-Lago to kiss Trump's ass because he needed to be in Trump's good graces, right? So that he can be the next speaker. This guy clearly is all about himself. He's not about the American people. He's not about this country. And hey, at the end of the day, look, if another Republican becomes speaker, I'm fine with it. Now, I don't want a Democrat. I don't want Hakeem Jeffries. But at some point, you got to hit the nuke button. You got to say, you know what, we're willing to risk it all. Because if you're not willing to risk it all, then you ain't really in the fight, right? This guy is being humiliated. He deserves to be humiliated, and I will be very happy to see him not become speaker. I have no faith whatsoever he's doing any of the things that he claims he's going to do. He's not going to ban stock trading, okay? He's not going to take, the dude the congressman that banged the Chinese spy off his committees, or lying Adam Schiff or Ilhan Omar. He's not going to do any of that stuff. He's probably not even going to investigate Joe Biden for his business dealings with Hunter Biden. He's not going to do any of that stuff. He's just saying it because he knows that that's what he needs to say to get people to get on board with him. But it's like you don't stand for that stuff. All you stand for is raising money. All you stand for is getting rich. That's what all these guys stand for. And look, I don't have a problem with politicians, getting financial benefits from being in office. I think that having the financial benefits there inspires quality people to actually, get into Congress, because again, having those financial benefits there is good to a certain extent. But again, these guys, again, you're not voting for him because he's a good leader. You're voting for him because he can raise money. And look, he can do that off to the side, right? We need a visionary. We need somebody that is going to actually inspire people to come out and vote Republican. What happened during the midterms in 2022 is unacceptable. And in a regular job, they would be fired. They would literally be fired for the job that the Republican Party has done, the leadership of the Republican Party. There's been no better time, right, to vote Republican than right now. And these guys still can't get it done. You barely won back the House. Barely. Okay? We lost the Senate. These guys got to go. They got to go. And it's really that simple. So, yeah, here's a list of all the Republicans that decided that, they don't want Kevin McCarthy to be speaker. It looks like they're not budging. And to be honest, what's going to happen here is if, Kevin McCarthy decides that he doesn't want to step down, they're going to have to just keep voting, right? Again, it's the third time. Again, by the time this video come out, it could be failed for a fourth time. But basically, they can't do anything in the House. They can't do anything until a new speaker is elected, right? So basically, Congress is froze until they can actually agree on a speaker. So Kevin McCarthy is going to have to step down if these people don't fold. And then maybe you're going to have somebody like Steve Scalise, right, or Elise Stefanik, or Patrick McHenry. You're going to have somebody else that is going to be the Speaker of the House, which I'm totally fine with anybody else except Kevin McCarthy. We need to send a lesson to these people, right? It's time for something to change in this party, and now's the time. We can't just keep saying that, oh, well, we don't want the Democrats to do this. No, we can't keep doing that, right? We got to actually, put our foot down and say, no, we're sick and tired of these con men, these con artists running this party that don't care about anything except putting money in their pockets and continue to get reelected. We got to put people in a position of power that have a real policy agenda that can actually be strong leaders for the Republicans. That is the biggest thing about Republicans that we're lacking is clear leadership. Kevin McCarthy, Mitch McConnell, Ron, they don't inspire anybody to come out and vote Republican at all, right? They're not changing anybody's minds, and they got to go. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.